Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 9 p.m. on a Tuesday evening, which means that's right. It's time for Film Geek Primer Live. Hey, how's it going? I'm your host, John Santo. Not here last week. I'd like to thank Dub and Tremendo for taking over the reins and keeping us going. Guys, thank you very much. But before we get to that, let's first, of course, start off with our infamous theme song. Shu, take it away.
Oh, here we go. Here's to infamy.
Yay! Thank you very much, sir.
Did I hear bongos?
It's highly possible. This just in from Scientist Steph. The Counselor, a bad movie.
I concur, Scientist Steph. I completely and utterly concur, and know somebody, not in this group right now, but somebody who considers The Counselor possibly the worst movie they've ever seen.
Really?
Yes.
Why do I like it then? I don't understand.
That's a damn good question, and you've even seen it twice to prove that you liked it.
Yeah, I saw the director's cut as well. So, anyways.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. I had to see what the difference was. It is not Selma Hayek. Who's the one that's in it? It's the all Latino one.
Cameron Diaz?
No, not Cameron Diaz. Sorry, who, Warren?
Penelope Cruz.
Thank you, Penelope Cruz. Yeah, so in the director's cut, Penelope Cruz takes it in the butt. So, right there.
Why didn't they call it the director's butt?
Who knew, right? So with us this week, Dub, sir, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Good.
Thank you for hosting.
No problem. Thank you for last week. I appreciate that. It was lovely to watch, actually. I appreciate you discussing my fine experimental filmmaking work on the show.
It's got to get out there, man.
People got to know. Tremendo, looking dapper and depressed. That or he's sensing sausages somewhere nearby.
What's the matter, Casey?
Why so serious?
How are you doing tonight, sir?
Somebody missed their Oh, too far.
Too far. All right. Also with us, Shu, of course, wearing his dapper Suspiria shirt.
Oh yeah, we're breaking out the gems tonight.
We're going all for it.
Well, anytime you can have a shirt where somebody's hanging on the end of a noose. I mean, why wouldn't you wear that? Why wouldn't you sport that? If they had sported shirts like this in The Counselor, it would have been a much better film.
Maybe. I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. It could add to the themes.
That would be the director's cut. You'll have to watch that.
Always with the director's cuts. Also, Warren, lounging, or the lounger himself. Did you get a haircut, sir?
Yeah, I guess I haven't been on in a couple weeks. Yeah.
No, looks good.
It's a nice look. It's dapper. It's not something that Santo and I really have to spend much time dealing with.
No, we're lucky that way.
Do you still give haircuts these days?
Is that still a thing?
No, exactly. There was someone sometime, and it was, and this in and of itself was 15 years ago, which will tell you perhaps how long I've been follically challenged beyond that. And they were talking about how they were going to get a haircut and it cost like $11, and I'm like, okay, what? Haircuts cost $11? Now they must be 25, and I'm like, how in the hell do I not have enough money for retirement already based on my follicle issues for the last 30 or so years?
You don't have to buy shampoo.
I don't. You know what? I'll share with you why. Probably because I went to Dunkin' Donuts and got some donuts, and I'm going to eat them during the course of the show.
Did you bring enough for everybody?
Yes, I did, but I'm eating them all because I'm not transitioning them through Google Plus into the video screen so that you guys can share.
You're not going to use the donut transporters that they add-on that we have?
You know, incredible. Warren, I'm waiting for you to invent that.
Hold on, I'm working on it.
I figured. If someone was, I figured it would be you. Already, my maple covered donut thingy is already falling apart.
That's a big fucking donut.
You can wear that as a crown. Be the king of donuts.
I was gonna say that's just slightly smaller than my cock ring.
Wow.
That's a fair estimation of all the ghosts that are in Tucson right now? Because that's a big...
It tastes a little like it, too.
So,
you can really taste the size.
So let's move on from pastry.
By all means.
I want to. Let's see here. No, that's not what I want to do.
Oh.
I want to. How do I screen share here? I screen share. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys a lovely poster for a movie that and fix yourself poster.
Oh my God!
Fix yourself.
Wow.
Why isn't it fixing itself?
I don't know.
Well, to hell with that then. There we go. Okay, so somehow Shu and I got into a conversation because somebody of his procured a copy of the 1981 classic Underground Aces. Let me read this off for you. They are parking lot zanies at the most luxurious hotel in Beverly Hills, and when they take aim, not a car or a dame is ever the same. With the other tagline, they'll park your car where the sun never shines.
Okay, wait. Is this another Santo movie that involves taking it in the butt?
No, unfortunately, no. This is a
because that's pretty much exactly what that tagline describes to me.
Oh, completely, yeah.
So looks better than the counselor.
So first off, I want to point out who heads up this poster here. This is the famed Robert either Haggis or Hayes Epstein from Welcome Back, Kotter.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That is Epstein from Welcome Back, Kotter. I believe he was also on Cagney and Lacey, if I remember correctly. And he passed away in 2012. Anyways, he's one of the ensemble cast. Let me get this off the screen here. We've looked at that enough. Anyway, so here's the cast of this 1981 comedy classic: Dirk Benedict, Melanie Griffith, Randy Brooks, who played the police Tim Roth's police captain in Reservoir Dogs, T.K. Carter, who you'd remember from The Thing, and I believe what's with the little girl, Punky Brewster. Okay. Here's the one that I think will impress Aaron.
All right. I'm prepped.
Pre-Police Academy. Hold on, I want this on your face.
Michael Winslow, please be Michael Winslow. Please be Michael Winslow.
Michael Winslow.
Oh, yes!
Now, Michael Winslow does not have a line of dialogue. He only makes noises poorly through this entire movie.
Why would you hire Michael Winslow and then give him words to speak? What purpose would that? So what would that add to your movie? Why would you make a movie like that?
I don't know. There's a sequence that I swear to God is just kind of centered around his stand-up routine. Like he does backup.
He uses his verbal dexterity. He uses those mouth sounds he makes.
Yeah.
Do someone in the butt, I'm hoping? He's sort of storyline.
Santo, is that the scene where they take the commercial break?
Yes. That's the where the guy does a let's do a commercial break and does a thing for a beer commercial, and Michael Winslow is doing his. By the way, he's not good. He's fucking horrible. It's like every noise. It's like bubbles are going. Woot, 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 woot. It's like he sounds like a fucking Muppet half the time.
It sounds perfect.
Yeah. So, anyways,
it sounds absolutely perfect.
I'm not done yet. Michael Winslow.
I ain't trying to hear all that.
Jerry Orbach, who walks around the entire time just with a tape deck as like the manager of the hotel making notes, like nothing to do with anything else. The comedy stylings of Frank Gorshin, the Riddler from...
No way! Sublime evil genius?
Yeah, he's the Frank Burns / foil to our people, because he's for some reason the hotel detective who's trying to get those kids fired. By the way, he should be fired every fucking frame of this film for what they're doing in public.
Question: does he end every scene by walking off in a huff?
Oh, a huff, a minute and a huff. I mean, he's huff.
Mostly huff.
Mostly
His performance is more huff than it is dialogue.
He'll do like Groucho walks and like real.
Oh, the fist fight.
It's genius. It's genius. Also, and not listed on this front page of IMDb, Sid Haig has a sizable role, and in a very small cameo, possibly one of his first screen bits, is Ernie Hudson as a general. Shoe? Do you remember?
I'm sorry, like a military general?
Yeah. Like
kind of general that tells me
something like that.
Something like that?
It's like this Beverly Hills hotel for some reason has sheiks staying there, generals, FBI agents, and none of them have any impact other than the sheik.
That they just happen to be there.
Yeah, they just happen to be there because they stay at the most posh Beverly Hills hotel ever. Which, by the way, inside looks like a fucking Motel 6. I mean, it's totally.
So these people coming through the hotel, they aren't a series of targets for whom the wind has to be taken out of their sails.
No.
The everyman parking attendant isn't there to get one up on the man after the man after the man.
No. Here's the crappy part too about this film. So it's only rated PG. So so you get none of the fun two horny guys who like want to spy on girls in the showers. You never get those scenes.
All they want to do is peek
the parking lot showers.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, they do. It's like there are two fast motion sequences. One where one of the mechanic guys says, "We got to get this car." Like they've got a car completely broken apart, and a guy's waiting for it. And they're like, "Oh, we can get it together in 10 minutes." And Dirk Benedict's like, "I bet you a week's worth of week pay." He starts the timer, and I swear to God, it's probably a minute and a half sequence. That's just nothing but fast motion of like literally watching a car getting put back together.
Right.
So fucking long and boring.
And the end scene, the conclusion of the scene has no payoff.
No,
it's like,
none whatsoever.
Well, I guess they got it done faster than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Cut the next scene. There's
barely
no
a script.
And it's one of those at some point where I'm expecting Dirk Benedict to lie and say, "Oh, sorry, that took 11 and a half." You know, something that was a little off-kilter punchline, but none of that ever happened. It's pretty it's pretty straightforward with as Santo noted, the two fast motion scenes, which are gems.
Yeah, and then the other, for some reason, Dirk Benedict half the time is dressed like a newspaper boy from the Depression. Like he's got the sweater vest and the hat, the driver's cap. It's real, like it is so
That's like
fascinating.
80s hipster though. That was like 80s hipster look.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally. I'm sure it was. Yeah. That look did not hold up. That's all I have to say.
I wonder how much of this movie I can watch.
And there are even more stars in this film.
Who else was in here?
Audrey Landers was in this movie.
Oh, right. I forgot Audrey Landers.
Melanie Griffith was in this film.
Yeah, no, I thought I mentioned Melanie Griffith. Yeah.
I didn't remember you mentioning Melanie Griffith.
Yeah.
Melanie's worth mentioning twice.
Yeah. She's simply looking for her cocaine money in this one. It looks like. But yeah. Sorry.
Audrey, you said? Who is that?
Audrey Landers. Audrey Landers was one of the Landers sisters, who was in. Oh my God! Out of the Lander sisters, they were in like everything.
Okay.
They were these hot blondes that were like probably in Fantasy Island and The Love Boat and.
They were in BJ and the Bear. That was probably where they made their name in BJ and the Bear. And Audrey Landers was in the dance movie.
Yes, you're right. She was in Chorus Line. No. That was. I think that was Sandal Bergman.
Sandal Bergman was in All That Jazz.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good times, that one. Hold on here. So
what happened there, John?
I don't know. I messed something up.
Oh
no. I turned my camera off somehow.
Game. Well, it's probably the Underground Aces. Oh, wow.
Thanks. I somehow just took a picture of my non-existent self.
That was pretty fantastic. I would like to disable that. Let's view the photo of Santo having his photo non-existently taken.
Now he just cut his mic. You can see down there on the bottom what he's doing. Muted himself.
Looks like he started a fire.
So while this is happening, and none of you have seen Underground Aces?
Back, baby.
I
have not.
Boy, you'll have to look for it. Apparently, it's streaming free on Amazon Prime as we speak.
Yes, it is. You can see it on Amazon Prime, which is very exciting. And I would recommend. It's 90 minutes of your life. You won't get those 90 minutes back. I guarantee you that there's no way. Right. But at the same time, if you want kind of like a slice, and this is what we were talking before the broadcast. Shu and I were talking about. You always hear about like Nashville or Blade Runner or these movies, and people were like, "You couldn't get that movie made today. You couldn't get this movie made today. This is not a movie that shouldn't." See, and that's the thing. I don't know because again, there's no plot real per se. There's this odd. It's a very kind of sweet love story, which is weird, but there's no character motivation for love is never real. It's just kind of like the symbol is if your nose is numb, you're in love, and like people just keep feeling their nose, and it's like and then that's the person they're going to chase throughout the rest of that movie, and all that stuff.
This sounds just like The Counselor. Maybe it did get made.
Yeah, maybe so.
Not as funny.
Well, could you make it with like alt comics, like say like a Wet Hot American Summer?
No, this sort of movie at the PG level you're describing doesn't get made for the theaters anymore. It gets made on television.
Oh, dub. Yeah, that could be, but the main reason, or at least there's a style of the way that it's like, because it's all vignette. Again, it's not very much plot. It's an all vignette kind of film. By the way, with a theme song by the Commodores.
Oh, right, yeah. That was
the Commodore.
84?
81.
81, I think.
Yeah. And here's the best part, is that the song has nothing to do with Underground Aces. It's like, but they, for some reason, keep saying Underground Aces. And it's so straight. It's like, life is just right, blah, 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 da-da, love is in the sun, blah, 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 Underground Aces. It's just like underneath the entire piece.
I have a mission for the smarter geeks among us. What was the first crappy song written to go over the credits of a movie to forcibly cram the title of the song into the title?
Oh my God. Yeah, Hot Stuff.
Well, you were crappy. I mean, James Bond movies were doing that for,
Right. But so how far back does that go?
like 1961 with Dr. No, but that wasn't they didn't have that in Dutch.
See, now
Goldfinger.
Yeah, Goldfinger. See,
I almost feel like the Bond thing should be kind of shelved and pushed to the side.
I wasn't expecting.
I mean, the concept of it. I mean, Warren, you're right on the money. The concept
I was thinking more Whoop, the Addams Family, there it is, kind of quality. That's sort of the kind of end credit song I was thinking.
Well, now wait. You want end credits or you want opening credits?
But this is right from the era of Car Wash.
Right.
So there was probably a 5 to 7 year period where this was a fairly common phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
That thankfully has gone by the wayside, but maybe it just needs to be brought back. Now, there's also a scene specifically in it that absolutely cannot be made, and it is so locked into the time that it is, in its own staggeringly racist way, is almost weirdly nostalgic. It is a.
Are you nostalgic for a simpler time, Shu?
No, I really am. And it has, it's well.
Those were the days. Those were the racist.
Is that Arizona calling?
Yes.
Arizona on the line?
Yes. I'm in Maricopa County right now. It is. It has to do with the black guy who dresses up like a sheik, who tries to get hookers from a cowboy pimp, but the cowboy pimp is not going to negotiate with the sheik because the sheik is responsible for raising gas prices, and as a result of that, they've increased his gas prices so much that the cowboy pimp American is no longer can't drive his Cadillac anymore because it takes up too much gas. So he says, and I quote, at the end of this bit, "No gas, no ass."
Ooh, right.
Right, now get out, and do you remember the rest of the line? Something like, "Now get away from me, you raghead faggot."
Yes.
That's the rest. This is.
I had forgotten. I had forgotten.
Pro-American statement made against the Arab nations who have been raising our gas prices.
Like they expected everybody in the audience to cheer USA.
Exactly. Oh, and the guy's in total blue, and like he's got a tin trailer with 3 ragged-looking, tall, skinny, coked-out prostitutes, and I even feel like there's an American flag painted on the trailer, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Yeah. Wow. Is that the trailer for it, Gabe?
No, I couldn't find clips, but the entire movie is on YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah. So it's readily available, thank God.
We could literally highlight this entire conversation on YouTube so that anytime anybody clicked on it, they went right to that movie.
That movie
would
we
be
should
fantastic.
Yeah,
and it would be much deserving.
Devoted to boosting their audience.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like, I mean, again, all of us before the show we were bringing up like Up the Creek and Animal House and Screen Test, and what were some of the other ones? Hot Dog the Movie.
Hot Dog the
Movie. These films that were all about, kind of the horny teen trying to get laid, a decade and a half before the American Pie movies kind of brought that back. Porky's kind of has that same thing going with it.
Well, Porky's was dirtier. Porky's was certainly the hard R.
Yeah, Porky's went for the smut.
Some of these were just you might call them spin-offs from Animal House.
Yeah.
Right? They took just the portly friend and maybe the stud, and the two of them went on vacation or something.
Which, by the way, Animal House did have the goofy theme song "Animal House" at the end.
That's
where
right.
That's right. Sing. Yeah.
And Up the Creek had it. Up
the
Creek had the theme song.
Oh yeah. Up the Creek had a great theme song.
Up the Creek.
Yeah, I still remember.
Yeah,
I still remember that song, and I still think of Up the Creek every time I fill up for gas. If anybody knows why, then you've seen Up the Creek too.
It's because they raised gas prices. Because the Arabs raised gas prices. Yeah, it's funny because it's like of all those movies.
Times have changed because I love those towel-headed faggots.
We all talk about it's like all of these movies for some reason are still like we're conscious to us. You know, we are all very aware of. Nobody out there, I'm sure, is going to go, "What the fuck is Up the Creek?" Which is true. They should. But it's, you know, there were littered, and thanks to the videotape, you know, home video market, the drive-in market at the time, all of that stuff was still very much alive. So this kind of like schlock could be thrown out there, and it was porn was not as readily available. So the titillation of watching the fat guy and the skinny nerd sneak into the showers to catch a side boob shot was always really exciting for people of our generation. Life's changed, kids. It's really interesting. But for some odd reason, this movie skipped by all of us, which is weird because at the time I was like a huge Dirk Benedict fan because Starbuck was like, you know.
Well, how about The Hangover? Could The Hangover be kind of an updated version of that?
Oh yeah, The Hangover is totally an updated version of that.
See, I would almost disagree because The Hangover has a very specific plot line that they're following. You know what I mean? It's like it's vignette, but it's basically a detective movie.
So it's Scavenger Hunt.
Scavenger Hunt also, I was thinking about this. Scavenger Hunt kind of falls under the wacky remake of It's a Mad, 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 Mad World.
Yes. Yeah.
What about Private School? Remember, like Matthew Modine?
Yeah, I watched Private School a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Of course
and it falls.
That had that whole template filled out of like, you know, young handsome guy, John Belushi type character.
Right.
There was also something fascinating in a lot of these movies too, and I also watched Santa. I should bring this up. I also watched Moving Violations last night.
We were talking about that before.
And Moving Violations and Underground Aces both have a bowling ball.
Oh my God, I forgot about bowling balls.
Sequence. Right. I can't get away from bowling ball comedy right now, and I think it needs to be brought back.
It's almost like the cinemas are saturated with bowling ball comedy.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing about it too was like literally it's like in the opening 5-minute montage where you're kind of introduced to everybody, and for no reason the car hits something else, the trunk pops open, and out come like 25 bowling balls for no reason. That then, you know, hilarity ensues. And one bowling ball then kind of like strays away, and we follow this bowling ball for like another 5, like it's a character. We're watching other stuff, and then every so often we go back to the bowling ball, and then somehow it gets down the ramp, down into the parking garage, and sets off this very bizarre
mousetrap thing.
It's like this Rube Goldberg device of like Amelie proportions, or, you know. And it's just, and so, you know, of a Janae and Caro kind of style thing here going on. And it's just so but then the punchline to it, like every punchline, is nothing like stupid. It's just absolutely inane
we're done.
And flat.
Yeah, we wanted to show that. Okay, we're done. That's it. Nothing in this movie has a punchline. But something about Moving Violation.
We spent a lot of time talking about this movie,
which I think falls under the category of a lot of the other more popular 80s flicks, is that they all had like the Ferris Bueller character, where they were all quirky and fun and somehow quirky and funny and practical jokey. He was the cool guy. He was kind of the cool hipster dude. But the guy in Moving Violations is a complete and utter doof. And you can't stand him, and he's not funny, and that in and of itself almost derails the whole film. But there are so many simplistic, authoritarian archetypes
Yes.
who you know throughout the course of the process are going to get their comeuppance. That happens in private school. That happens in moving violations. That happens obviously in Animal House and pretty much any of a number of these other types of movies. It's always about the goofy, kooky, practical joker, hipster guy who happens to stick it to rigid 50s style authority.
Yeah,
that's what I was asking about Underground Aces.
For cinema greatness.
Like the Sheik and the FBI and the rich people.
You're right, Dub. It should have all of
Palooza.
It should have all of those things, and it has absolutely zero.
All right, we've spent entirely too much time on this.
Okay, we're moving on.
The next one, I am no longer talking about smoker.
We're moving on now. But yeah, Underground Aces.
Watch here. Just look at my screen real quick.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, no, we showed it already.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, little gutter balls action. Everybody likes a good bowling ball gag. Everybody likes a good bowling ball gag. Anyways, Caddyshack was the other one that actually just popped into my skull of that era that kind of was in that realm. Anyway, but what's nice kind of about talking about Underground Aces and spending a lot of time discussing these weird comedies of that era is that one, if a person liked Underground Aces, I would believe that would probably be considered a guilty pleasure because you should feel bad about enjoying that movie. It
is good and right that you feel shame.
Feel shame, yeah. You should feel bad about that and need to confess to your priest, your rabbi, or whoever it is that you have to go to. So what we're going to do tonight is going to kind of discuss a little bit. We're going to spend about 10-15 minutes discussing guilty pleasure movies. What do they mean? What are they about? So Warren, actually, you had in our little email conversation back and forth, you pointed out something that was really interesting. So why don't you could you verbalize again what you were kind of talking about in those emails?
Well, the part about what makes something a guilty pleasure, like what kind of.
Sure. Well, you also brought up that is there such a thing as a guilty pleasure?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of movies out there that. Because I've been looking on lists on what's a guilty pleasure, and there's all these things out there, what people call guilty pleasures, and what they call guilty pleasures on these lists, I'd be like, hey, that's a good movie. I like that movie. Like, I don't feel bad about liking that movie, And then the other
feel as though you have to defend it.
Yeah. Like a guilty pleasure is like a movie that you like, but you don't want to tell anybody. Like it's like a confession when you say, you know what, everybody. Like, okay, here's an example, and I will confess a guilty pleasure. Just as an example, because of what is relatively considered a... I got a whole bunch of them, okay? I got a whole bunch of movies that I say I can enjoy. So there's
nothing but that.
So there's I enjoy Waterworld, and everybody hates that movie. Waterworld? God. I enjoy watching it. If it's on TV, wow. I'll watch it.
I actually just rewatched Waterworld this past weekend because I went to Universal Studios and saw the new updated Waterworld show.
Is that even relevant? Like, why did they invest money in making a show about a 20-year-old movie?
I will tell you what, the show is 20 times better than the movie. It's only 20 minutes. You're a few feet away from fireballs and other exciting things, and the dialogue is just as bad.
Now that I think about that, I feel like they had it when and I haven't been to Universal Studios in like 15 years.
Oh, it's been there forever. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The fireball thing sounded familiar.
Yeah, it's got like an airplane launches over a wall and lands near the thing. People get soaked. Folks are running around on jet skis.
Okay, I've seen that show.
Yeah, it's a really fun show. If you ever get the chance to go to Universal Studios, make sure you see the Waterworld show. There's a reason actually why it's been around for so long.
So Warren, do you have to defend this show when? Like, did somebody catch you watching?
No. It's
your children walk in on you watching Waterworld, and you had to have the talk.
It's just hard. It's just hard to have guilty pleasure because there's also a lot of movies out there that I think are horrible, like horrible movies that I like nobody can defend to me. Like, let's say Transformers, But that is a billion-dollar movie,
Sure.
Clearly, that is not a guilty pleasure because there are enough people spent $1 billion to go see it and buy it on video and do all this stuff. I mean, to me, that's an awful movie that is considered a success.
That's more reflective of the taste of society as opposed.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, like, I think it comes down to who you hang out with, because there's people out there that can be like, man, I love Transformers. You know, and that's exactly what they sound like.
I'm looking at one right now who loves Transformers.
But,
just like that.
you know, but they don't have to feel they don't feel embarrassed about saying it because there's enough people around who like Transformers.
I like Transformers.
I know, and
Yeah.
that's what you sound like every time you say it. I like Transformers.
Yeah.
We grew up like 20 feet apart. How do I have a different accent?
I don't know. That's the weird thing. I don't know how come you got.
I'll tell you what.
I tell you,
I got a lot of King of the Hill, and I likes me the train.
Now I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, Warren. I don't. And again, I don't think. And that's interesting because I don't like Waterworld at all. Again, rewatching it, I was mouth agape at how much I didn't like that movie.
But that's why it's a guilty pleasure for me because I know a lot of people don't like it.
See, and that's the thing though, is I don't know if it could be considered a guilty pleasure because I do believe that there are enough people out there who actually do enjoy that film that makes it. I don't want to say a good movie, but at least relevant, or at least within that thing of you can't quantify it or qualify it.
Sort of universally panned. It's considered like this failure of a movie, you know.
Well, it was a failure of a movie though, because it was like a $200 million film. There was all this talk about reshoots and fighting on the set, and then of course they were expecting it to be a huge bomb, but it didn't bottom out as much as they were expecting it to. And critics were all the critics were like, okay, we were expecting real garbage, but it's just kind of like normal summer garbage.
Right.
So I think it didn't bomb as much as people were hoping it would.
If that's the case, then I feel fine about liking it. Then I don't feel as bad. It's not guilty. Okay, see, that's what I'm saying. Now you've taken away. It's not a guilty pleasure because there are people out there who like it.
Sure.
Kind of like John Carter, though. I think it falls under the category, but it's not as bad as we thought it was going to be.
Well, that was the thing. John Carter, I heard was horrible. I waited until I saw it until it was on cable. Like I didn't see, and then I was like, this isn't so bad. You know, I
liked
don't know if
it.
I considered a guilty pleasure, but I
love John
Transformers and John Carter.
Yeah, see, and we even have Dub and I's first episode actually has an entire John Carter conversation, and that's one of those movies again that I feel falls more under the it was criticized before it came out, and it was judged well before it came out. And I think in today's internet age, I don't think a guilty pleasure is no longer able to exist in a weird way because you will be able to find that group that likes that movie, and also on a personal level. If you like a movie, if something resonates with you, whether it's whether it's let's see, how do I say this? As long as you don't say it, as long as you don't find it stupid, as long as you don't as long as you don't enjoy something because of its stupidity, then and you genuinely like something, I think that's the real kind of where the guilty pleasure thing kind of falls in there, because a lot of people are like, yeah, I know it's stupid, but I still like it. It's like bullshit. No, you like it. It's okay. You can like a movie. It's all right to like something.
But you think that, but but sometimes but we all make fun of people for liking movies, and they're all movies that we don't really quite mention. I mean, it all boils down to how secure we are in ourselves. I mean, it becomes a psychological thing, rather.
Very true.
You can have guilty pleasures with anything.
Sure.
Like, how confident are we to say something that's against what the rest of our group is, whether we know they'll accept it or not? I mean, and that could be with just about anything. So, in some ways it comes down to, will I admit this openly to my friends that, hey, whenever Ghost Rider's on TV, I'm going to sit down and watch it because for some reason I enjoy that.
Okay, exactly. Now I'm judging you.
Exactly.
I like Ghost Rider and Transformers.
I'm forcing the issue. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying it's more of a psychological thing. Yes, you could find people out there, but sometimes you don't go searching for. I'm not going to go scanning the forums for Ghost Rider fans so we can all get together. I mean, you hang out with your group of friends and you hang out with the people and you quietly talk about. You're at home alone at 10:30 at night and Ghost Rider's on and all of a sudden you're up a little later than you thought.
Sure. So basically, a guilty pleasure can almost be anything on Spike TV.
It could be almost anything. It could be almost anything that
Yeah.
Warren, do you find yourself trying to defend or convert, not defend, but convert these movies, convert your love of these films to try to convince other people that they should like them as well?
No, and I think that's another definition. That, like, if I can't defend it, it's just something that's inside. Like I will. If I can't defend it, I won't try to, and that makes me a little bit nervous. I mean, isn't that the case? Like, don't you all like? I'm sure you all like movies that you're just like, I can't defend it.
Oh hell yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, I guess so. I think my pretentious issue though is that I try to defend anything that I like. So I'll find my reasons as to why I like it, and then make sure, and then that's my wall. That's the thing that I can put up to make people go, this is why, with John Carter being, I'm sure, a clean example, or I was trying to think, the one guilty pleasure that keep popping into my skull, though I admit it, I can't defend it, is the House on Haunted Hill remake from
I like it.
1990, whatever it was.
Is anyone else having audio issues with John, or is it just me?
Just you. I
Yeah, he's jumping all over the place.
I hear him just fine.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Interesting. I don't know. I seem to be registering fine here on this end.
I like House on Haunted Hill, the remake, too.
Do you? Okay.
Also, 13 Ghosts. To me, 13 Ghosts was a good movie, too.
Yeah, I can't defend I can't give 13 Ghosts any props, but I will. I do like House on Haunted Hill, the remake.
I feel like a lot of mine land into the category of I guess there are two categories, because I'll watch a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll watch Seagal films, and I'll watch a Van Damme film, and I'll even delve into like the weird, an occasional weird Filipino action film, or an Ong Bak film, or Jackie Chan films, or
but this would be
I can deal with. But I also find beyond that, Hal Needham. Anything by Hal Needham, I'll probably watch, and to some degree, I'll probably enjoy. And those sons of bitches are goofy. They're very much locked into their time, and you know what the time is. And if you look at them you can only really look at them as goofy, well-constructed stunt sequences, more than you can look at them necessarily as great films. But anything with Burt Reynolds from that area, I'm probably in. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a good film, but I can look at it and say, yeah, I'm going to get a kick out of this. Yeah, there. Ishtar, which is a movie that falls under the it got ripped early category, and I guess there's been a slight resurgence or something like that, but I don't know if anybody's ever going to come out and say, God, it's the greatest damn movie ever made. There are parts of Ishtar that are flippin' great, and I consider it kind of in the, if you wanted to call it a guilty pleasure, I figure it would fall under that category. So there's a lot of, I watch cinema as much for, the entertainment aspect of cinema, which is more than just, wow, that was a great shot, that was an incredible action sequence. A couple weeks ago, we talked about some of our essentials, which included, for me, Peter O'Toole walking across the desert in Lawrence of Arabia. Okay, I can watch a film for that, but son of a bitch, I can watch some Asylum shit, too, and, some Lorenzo Rama straight-to-video crap, and that's okay as well. Okay. And if I'm enjoying the experience, there you go.
See, now this is interesting, because with the Hal Needham films, which of course, and I'm not gonna count Stoker Race, because I think that one's just horrible. But I will use Smokey and the Bandit and oh my God, what was the Stuntman one?
What's it called? Stuntman?
Hooper, right?
Hooper, thank you, Hooper. So Hooper and Smokey and the Bandit are those movies. See, that again, having fun with those are movies that they're having fun with as well, so you're laughing with them versus at them, if that makes any sense.
Right, it's not Battlefield Earth.
Exactly, yes, you're right. It's not a Battlefield Earth. And Ishtar
execute exactly what they intended in those movies. Hal Needham executes exactly what he intends. So you're not seeing a failure, you're seeing a success.
Exactly. You're not going to get depth from Cannonball Run. And it's that great Steven Soderbergh line.
About depth of cleavage.
Yeah. Well, with Cannonball, there was the great Steven Soderbergh line about Cannonball Run, which was if a good movie just meant having fun on the set, Cannonball Run would be the Citizen Kane of movies, right? Or something of that ilk. Anyways, but yeah, the Steven Seagal stuff, and this is kind of more I'm curious, like the Asylum movies and everything else like that. Sure, you're laughing more at than with. Although with the Asylum ones, I'm always on the edge of I mean, I feel like they do want you to laugh with them. I mean, they're in on the joke.
I think that's probably. They know what they are. Yeah, they know what they are more than Seagal does. Seagal's an interesting example because Seagal is a very unique person who believes his mythos.
Sure.
And part of the entertainment from viewing a Seagal film are all the aspects that go into his believing his mythos, that he is somehow connected to, the Cajun community and the Russian community and the rogue CIA community and the inner city black community and and the Native American community, up and down the Seagal is tied, the Italian community. Seagal is tied to everything. He is the ultimate Renaissance man. Yet he believes this, and then you throw in the fact that he's 300 pounds, you throw in the fact that they have to cut around a lot of the other weird stuff, that he mumbles through half of his lines and you can't understand what he says, but he views himself as being the greatest badass that there is. A lot of those aspects certainly fall into laughing at someone who takes himself too seriously, even though he's been through this process for 30 years and ought to have long since recognized that he's not a straight-to-video component. Yeah.
Sure. Well, and that's kind of that curse of the '80s thing, and I'll use Stallone's Cobra as an example of when you get lines like seriously stated, you're the disease and I'm the cure, with the mirrored sunglasses and the match.
Right.
And as you watch that shit today, you're like, oh my god. And even Stallone recognizes how ridiculous that was at the time. But again, like Commando and all of those movies weren't made as comedies. Those were made as very not serious action films, but at least they were made legitimately, and the actors were seriously trying to do them.
So you like that? Is that a guilty pleasure?
Well, the point I think gets back to what Warren said originally, which is it's all context. It's all the group of people you were with, and I'll spoil my essential because we've already listed it in our topic of guilty pleasures. Actually, no, I'll save it. But it's you would only
tell it because we're kind of probably not going to really get into essentials to some extent.
Well, it was going to be Commando.
Okay.
And it was going to tie into guilty pleasures because it's all about, like Warren was saying, it's all about context. Yep. And then, like Shu was saying, when you've got a diversity of films you watch, there are conversations that you'll have with someone where you'll think, I don't need to bring up any Hal Needham movies with this person. They're not going to connect. I'm not going to even engage in the conversation, much less try and defend it. But in that context, Hal Needham is a guilty pleasure. Same with Transformers, same with any of these other movies. If you're with the wrong people, you're just not going to bring it up. So like the broadest possible definition of a guilty pleasure would be some movie for which you would feel defensive or uncomfortable discussing in front of someone else. So like I saw Freebirds, that animated film. I don't think I would bring that up at work. not that was a guilty pleasure necessarily, sure. But in that context I wouldn't bring it up. Whereas with people like us, where we all sort of consume a lot of whatever's in front of us to a large extent, there are no guilty pleasures. Right. And there was a guilty pleasure I had that sort of I shared, and it was like a coming out experience, where like I was totally embraced when it happened. Where I believe I said it to John one night in some debaucherous low point in our lives, where I turned to you and I said, "You know something, John? I think I legitimately like Commando."
Right.
And you were like, you threw your arm around me and you were like, "It's okay, man. It's okay to like Commando.
We'll get through this."
Like, is it really? And the more people I told, the more I found Commando is a really well-liked movie. Like, watching that late at night in the dark.
Well, now here's the question, because this is something actually I brought up in an email a while back when we were kind of discussing Film Geek Prime episodes and stuff. Do you like Commando? Do you genuinely like Commando, or do you appreciate now the irony of Commando? Like, is it a legitimately good? Do you legitimately love it, or do you love it because it's so ridiculously kind of bad in a way?
I think it's at this point those feelings are like so intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
That it's hard. I can't separate. It's symbiotic.
Sure.
I watched Irony 3 when it first came out.
Yes, right. I enjoyed it. Irony 3 when it first came out.
What movie?
I recognize its badness over the years, or its corniness, or whatever, but it's still a favorite film.
What movie? I missed it.
We're still talking Commando.
Commando. You're talking about Commando.
I think Tremendo also. Didn't you say Iron Eagle 3, Tremendo?
Iron Eagle 3 as well. One particular scene.
Okay, I'm sorry. You've got to explain yourself on this one. What scene?
There's a specific reason why Iron Eagle 3 is one of the great films of that era.
I never saw the third one. I only saw the first two, and learned by listening.
I was an extra, and I have a very brief shot.
Oh, no way! How could you not have told me this?
So dial it up now.
Your lower third should read Star of Iron Eagle 3. I don't know.
Circuit.
You might remember me from such films as Iron Eagle 3.
I've had.
Or at least that should be his Twitter handle, Iron Eagle 3 Extra.
Extra, really.
Yeah, you've got to immediately register L3 Mendo.
Although the best part is when Tremendo is actually shown that scene, and it's like, there I am. You're like, where? No, back. Go back. There it is. No, back. There it is. There it is. No, back. There it is. There it is. No, back. There it is. There it is.
It's much
great.
harder in the VCR days. I'm sure it'd be easy now.
And the weirdest thing is that as a result, Iron Eagle 3 always feels like a 3.5-hour movie when I'm watching it with Tremendo.
So T, is there other than your claim to fame? Now, do you appear in Harley Davidson: The Marlboro Man, or were you just the PA on that?
No, I was the PA. Yeah.
Okay. What about Tank? Did you PA Tank Girl by any chance when that happened?
Yeah.
Okay, but you don't appear in that, like Dancing in the Rain.
No, I was the opposite PA of that. I didn't
Okay.
I went on set a couple times.
Okay, yeah, it's that's too bad. I would go back and rewatch Harley Davidson.
The best part of Iron Eagle 3.
There's a video called The Best Part.
So I'll look for my cameo there.
Okay, cool. So now, other than of course,
I'm on the hunt already.
I don't know. Other than say a movie that has you in it, being the reason why you should enjoy something, is there a movie out there maybe that you feel you need to confess?
Well, I think we talked about this in the email real briefly. Is I don't believe in guilty pleasures. I think if you like something, you like something.
Sure.
And I think if you take the term guilty pleasure and everything that's associated with it, I think it's usually a film you feel compelled to explain to people why you like it, for whatever reason. I don't have to explain to anybody why I like Avengers or Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane maybe for the film aspects, this history of cinema and filmmaking, but my film in that respect that I feel like I need to explain why I like it and show it to people and say this is why I like it a lot is Hot Shots Part 2.
That movie's awesome.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I don't think that falls under that one, but okay. I mean,
better than the first one.
Totally.
Well, I think it's associated for two facts that it's a sequel, and most comedy sequels aren't funny, aren't as good as the first. This one is one of those rare ones that is much better than the first one, and it's the part of to me the holy trinity of those kinds of movies. First one being Airplane, second being Top Secret, and then Hot Shots Part 2.
First one to die loses.
What's that?
First one to die loses.
Yes.
I loved you in Wall Street.
So luckily you could feel safe, I guess, in this audience, knowing that
Right,
Part 2 is not considered a guilty pleasure. Yeah.
That's one of my all-time favorite comedies.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely up there with me. It's up there with Marx Brothers, and it's just one of those perfect.
Now I have to go watch it.
I know.
No, I was wondering why I replaced my oxygen tank with helium.
Yeah, see, I would say, I mean, honestly, in that kind of realm, I would think that it would be more along a wrongfully accused or a Dracula Dead and Loving It. Now, here's something that I find fascinating. There's a large, the generation below us, the Wires, the Gen Wires, if that's what they're called, the millennials, for some reason, really like Robin Hood Men in Tights, and to me, that's like not a good Mel Brooks movie in any way, shape, or form. I don't know if anybody else here actually enjoys it, but and they could explain.
No.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty rancid at the time and really just kind of fell apart. But that's something that actually is films like that are there are these weird like earnest movies for some reason. A lot of them are and again, I think they were little kids when they first saw them, so there's that nostalgic value to it.
And what do we feel about Screen Test and Hot Dog the movie?
The movie, exactly, or of course about now Underground Aces, since I've just ordered my T-shirt. But it's interesting, like films like that. But see, at the same time, it's like a movie I wouldn't even call it a guilty pleasure anymore, because it's definitely something that I watched many times as a kid, and nowadays I know that it's horrible and I find it very hard to watch, is Conan the Destroyer, which was one, and it's a rough movie. I mean, it's a really rough film, but of course as a kid I was a big Conan fan and read the books, and to me it was just it was the, you know, whatever Conan I could get, that was the thing.
Simply
Yeah,
like it wasn't.
I know that's a bad movie, but I mean, I sit through it if it's on. You know.
Conan the Destroyer?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
It's not good, but I still watch it, and if it's on, I'll watch it type of thing.
And is it a nostalgic thing, do you feel, or is it just kind of like?
I think it's a lot of like memory thing. You know, you sit back and you watch it, and because it was like softer than the first Conan, as far as, I mean, like gore and violence and stuff. It felt like it was more toned down.
Oh yeah, it was a PG or PG-13.
Yeah,
for
sure.
It's not the hard R, and it was much more not adventure movie, but it was much more plot based. You know, the first one wasn't as deeply rooted in plot as the second one was, because there was an actual goal, and you had Grace Jones, and you had this, and Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah.
It's just a bizarre fucking cast. And there was a whole kind of thing going on with it, and I don't even think it was based off of any of the Howard books. I think it was just something that somebody had written and made up. But yeah, but there are, it's one of those, I don't know, I don't attach myself, I don't have a nostalgia. There are films like, oh, I love that as a kid. It's a piece of shit. That's kind of, I've dropped the nostalgia wrapper from movies from when I was a kid. And things that I genuinely like and can defend them or stand up for them. But other stuff, it's just, it's out the door. But yeah, the Robin Hood Men in Tights one is a real flummoxes me to no end.
Hot Shots Part 2, that's a good one.
Yeah, Hot Shots Part 2, I don't think you should ever feel embarrassed around anybody about that one, because that's got a lot of really good gags.
And I don't
feel embarrassed about anything I like.
I don't think that's a guilty pleasure, because I can sit there and defend it.
Maybe, I mean, I'm a guy wearing this mask. I'm not embarrassed.
I was going to say, yeah, there's nothing yet.
I am a brave man.
Embarrassment's not in my... But I think if this is a different podcast and we're talking about TV shows, there's definitely some guilty pleasures in the TV show area.
Oh, we should do that.
I feel a little in the closet about.
See, now that's interesting, because on the TV side of it, I would think that's much more of kind of a, I don't want to say time waster, but it is one of those things where it's like, when you, after a long day at work or whatever, you just kind of, you're not wanting to get involved in anything per se, and you just kind of want to, mind rot is kind of what a lot of television is about these days. There's still some very solid television out there, but there's so much just kind of all the reality stuff and everything else like that. They're like, I don't think anybody legitimately likes House Hunters, but they'll watch House Hunters. I mean, it's, they're fascinated by.
I think people do. I think people are really into, like, especially those reality shows. I mean, I'll say I hate watching those reality shows. But I do it for time wasters, like when we came down there for Thanksgiving in LA, and we were in our hotel room for a while. There was nothing on TV, and I had the kids there. There was like some auto shop shows on where they're like buying old cars and stuff like that, and the guys were acting for the cameras and stuff. But and I sat there, I watched a marathon or like an hour worth of whatever. I was like, can't believe I'm watching this, but I wonder if he's going to buy that Mustang. It's like,
right. You do.
I wouldn't call that a guilty pleasure, because I don't.
You become awkwardly emotionally invested in certain things, especially like again, Scientist Stuff watches a ton of House Hunters, and so whenever I'm over there, that's always got to be on. What's that?
Does she DVR it?
No, it just always happens to be. It's like it's the only fucking thing that channel shows.
So then that's the default. Like I've got like History Channel default.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's
one of those reality shows on.
And here's that weird thing, and this is something. Oh, now Dub, you brought up the hate watching versus.
Well, that's what I was saying, because you were saying that you don't have any more guilty pleasures.
Right.
And what happens is, because you make up your mind something that you know is bad, yet continue to watch, other people might call a guilty pleasure. But because you would proselytize it in the negative, you define it as hate watch. You say you watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a while.
Right. But I don't. But I also would. But see, for me, that's not a guilty pleasure. For me, I watch it because it's not something that I secretly like. It's something that I actually watch so I can work out my frustration and anger. So there's that.
It just gives a place for all your free-floating hate to just land.
Yeah.
It's for a while and just relax on Agent Ward's acting. Like that's where my hate belongs.
That fucking guy. Yeah, and it is, and it's one of those things. It's very interesting. It's like in kind of today's day and age, I don't know. The word hate watch seems to have cropped up more recently, and I think it's because of Twitter and other things where people are just like they can start criticizing something back and forth in real time to each other.
It's the community of hatred.
Yeah, it's a community of hatred, and it's interesting. It's a shame kind of that it does exist, especially in a community level. Because I think being able to unwind in a weird way and just kind of like, if I'm pissed at my day at work and I can now focus it on some poor actor who's not very good at his job, and kind of let him
watching this podcast right now, crying.
Oh, completely, yeah. It's I'm sorry. I think even his parents aren't proud of him for that.
No, I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna continue to eviscerate his acting, but I will say I saw 2 action movies this weekend, 3 if you count the animated one, and his fighting in a TV production. And I caught up on Game of Thrones, so I've seen a lot of action. He can fight on screen. He's physically capable of making a believable fight scene on screen.
That's called a stuntman.
Well, he can just stop crying because he does have some skills.
Okay, fair enough. So he can always find work in a slowly. Yeah, he can always be a stuntman, which of course is a unfortunate, slowly dying profession, which is kind of a bummer. But yeah, so good luck, Agent Ward, with that one. But yeah, I would say there's a difference between hate watching and guilty pleasure, because again, guilty pleasure, I genuinely gain laughter, emotion, some positive feeling from, versus hate watching, which is, I think it's right there in the title. It's hate. It's there's one word right. They're both words are dead on.
One is almost like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Getting through it, whereas it's almost a rite of passage or a badge of honor sort of thing. Well, the other one, it's not so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely, I can, for instance, The Following. I watched the first season of The Following and absolutely said no effing way. I'll get through the first season. This is such a hitting piece of crap. There is no way. The fact that I'm talking about it right now is more time than I want to dedicate to anything related to The Following from this point on. So I don't care how awesome it was. It may have been in season 2. I'm
Underground Aces.
Perplexed that they might ultimately bring it back for a 3rd hideous, wretched season that I will never effing watch. But I did manage to get through the first season, which was horribly hideous.
You'll watch it.
Atrocious, and I watched it to the goddamn end anyway.
And here's the thing. I
bailed out early on that. I didn't even watch it to the end.
Yeah, well, and here's the fucked up part about it too, Fu, is that because we both watched it all the way through, and it's one of those weird things where it's like, I'm not going to let this defeat me.
Right.
Like there's this weird I'm arguing against an inanimate object. I'm not going to let something that a bunch of people have put together that are throwing at me like a fucking meteor coming right at the earth. I'm not going to let it destroy me. And it's so bizarre it's such a weird, in today's world, that's like my sign of victory. Like somehow that's how I can win. However much shit the world throws at me, I'm not going to let this first season of The Following win and have me walk away from it.
I will stand. Who is defeated by this?
There's nobody. That's the problem. It's so messed up, and I know a lot of people do it this way. It's so messed up.
I guess it's actually one of the healthier forms of self-cutting.
I guess, yeah.
Cutting your brain.
Some people cut their wrists just to feel nothing. I've watched The Following.
I think The Following is worse.
Actually, probably you're right. There are a lot of worse things. Heroin is actually probably a better thing for me than The Following, but it didn't win. And I stood up to it and I won. I walked away proud, saying, "Ta-da! I watched all of you." I don't know. I didn't even try. I gave up. It won. It won.
No. It's not that it won. You didn't have to fight it again.
Mm-hmm.
You just got through it the first time, and that's like, okay, I made my point.
You walk away.
That would have been so what you're saying is that
I could get through season 2 if I wanted to, but I'm not gonna even bother with you. You have been discarded because I have proven that I can be victorious and work my way through season 1. Now that season 1 is done, you're gone. It's over.
That's about as substantive as if Rocky had refused to fight Apollo in Rocky II.
Right.
No.
Yes.
You know why? It's the bar fight.
There's a rematch, and you guys are on the sidelines.
No, it's the bar fight. It's the guy that you get in the fight with at the bar, and then the next weekend when you go back to that bar, he's there and you're there, and you both know, but neither of you are going to do anything about it.
Who won the first fight, though?
Huh?
Who won
I don't
the
know.
first fight?
It was a draw. It was. I mean, at the end of the day, really, it's still on the air. I'm still walking around.
Somehow Kevin Bacon won the first fight.
Yeah, no, trust me. Kevin Bacon has won nothing on that thing. That's only because he lost all his money when the real estate bubble burst.
Yeah,
he's got to do that show. Anyway, so are there any other guilty pleasure kind of titles, movie-wise, that we want to whip out here before we sign off?
No, I get back to Commando being the turning point for me, sort of my coming out, and then after that there was no guilty pleasures. After that, everything I loved, I talked to people and I was like, yeah, I love Tommy Boy. Yes,
I really like that. I love that coming out. I love
go
that
out on a limb.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody! Godfather was awesome. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, no, I do appreciate.
Deer
I like
Hunter
that.
haters could just step off because that movie was good. I don't care what you say.
Sorry, what movie?
Deer Hunter.
Deer. Oh yeah, well, yeah.
Don't try and tell me otherwise.
I won't. Yeah, that's interesting though. That movie, that's fascinating. Does anybody here have that movie that? So what was that? So if Commando was that turning movie for you, was there anybody else here that had that?
Commando.
Yeah. I can't think of what it was. Like I can't think of a specific film for myself that made me go, I'll defend it. I have no problem now defending anything that I like. I don't know where that kind
What's your favorite Indiana Jones movie?
I still don't think defending it has anything to do with it because sometimes I'll just say, you know what, I like that movie. Yeah, I know it sucks. I like it. Deal with it.
Well, as dumb and psychological as it is, this is just ultimately being comfortable with yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
You don't have to be. You don't have to be. You're at a point where you don't necessarily have to be with one of the masses. You feel a little. If somebody doesn't like it, okay. And if you do,
this whole podcast in a tweet.
You're not right. You're not.
A bunch of movies that were unjustly vilified, and I think one I watched yesterday called the Timeline.
That's funny. Actually, somebody else just brought that up the other day, and I don't remember ever seeing it. So I'm kind of curious about it.
It was just savage when it first came out, and I saw it. It was very watchable.
Huh.
Who's in it?
It's
really, really goofy, but
Michael Crichton.
Yeah, Michael Crichton, Paul Walker.
Oh yeah. I read the book and I saw it. It was.
It obviously stuck with you.
It was okay. Well, yeah, I totally forgot. Like that's what that was. The book, the book was a Michael Crichton book, so it like moves along, quick pace.
Richard Donner.
Yeah, Richard Donner.
Richard Donner directed
it. It was horrible.
Yeah, that was one that was definitely vilified when it came out and ended up tanking.
The acting is spectacularly goofy. I mean, it's like Hammer science fiction-y, just theatrics, but it's fun in that way when it's almost an homage to that goofiness.
Right. Yeah, and also I think there's been a what do you call it? There's a lot of revisionism now also with movies. People are always it's like all the time, especially I think because of all the blogs and movie sites out there. People are always kind of bringing up titles that they feel got the shaft when they first came out, and they're now trying to defend them. Except for. Carrot Top's chairman of the board, which was got railed, shocking. But it's so like somebody was talking about Princess Purple Rain and how it shouldn't be vilified, which I never thought it was, but
I thought apparently. It was vilified. I mean, I thought it was.
Yeah,
I thought it was considered fairly popular.
Yeah, I would vilify the person that wrote the article because I know the guy's a douche, but at the same time.
And I would vilify your vilification of him.
Yes.
Would anyone like to vilify me?
Anyone?
Yeah.
No.
You've been mostly vilified.
All those who vilify say aye.
There was one moment that I recall where I got into this kind of personal affront, where I was watching a film with a large group of people, and it's a film that I love, and the way that they reacted to it in a joking manner almost offended me, and I wanted to stand. It was in a theater, and it was before a sneak preview of the remake of The Getaway, the Alec Baldwin, Kim Basinger film. And they showed before that The Killer. But they showed the American dubbed, the English language dubbed version of The Killer. So and the theater was packed. College kids, theater was packed. So I'm 10 years old or whatever than everybody else in the theater, and I've loved Hard Boiled for however many years, or rather The Killer for however many years it came out. It's kind of a it's in the upper echelon of movies that are very close to me for what I love that film.
It is close to the center. It is a center. It is a bright star in the Shuniverse.
As opposed to a black hole. That is correct. But admittedly, there are a number of points in the English language version where the dialogue is ridiculous. Mickey Mouse, Dumbo, and they're talking back and forth, and you got the English accented voiceover guys doing this, and the whole crowd is laughing at this. And I'm sitting in my little portion off to the side, nobody else around me, just fuming, thinking, you sons of bitches, you do not understand for a goddamn second how fucking awesome this film is. And for about 10 minutes I was completely vitriolic about the whole experience. How dare you goddamn laugh at this fucking awesome film. You guys don't get for a second how great this film is and how cinema isn't anywhere near this. You're going to watch a piece of shit next and it's going to be okay, and you're going to be spending time laughing at goddamn Mickey Mouse and Dumbo and not appreciate how fantastic this John Woo film was. And then, it was kind of, and then a little while later, it's like, wow, maybe I took that a little bit too seriously, and I just kind of come to a realization that you're going to like what you like, and that's the way it is. Screw them all, goddammit, screw them all.
I've gone the other way, where I've gone on these incredibly bizarre rants about how awesome, what the dramatic constructs in Finding Nemo. And I'll talk for like a half an hour about that, and then at the end of it realize, oh my god, no one else has been talking. It's just been me. I've just been raving about this movie that I like. It's like I come out of some sort of fugue state. Like I don't know what happens there.
How long have I been under? 14 hours.
Right. What day is it? What day is it?
What year is it? Like Robin Williams and Jumanji. What year is it? Beard and
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that the next time I'm in an uncomfortable situation. As I'm just gonna pretend like I wake up, grab the person, say, "What year is this?" When they tell me, I'm gonna say, "Then there's still time," and done. And just be like, "I am done with that moment."
That's a good way to bail.
I like that. I would love to see that happen. Actually,
please videotape that.
Yeah, I would totally. That would be the best. That's what you need to do at a party that you want to leave.
I'm halfway into my why I hate the time travel in Terminator 2 rant.
Right.
With someone, and I realize, oh my god, this poor 22-year-old girl that I'm upbraiding at work about the finer points of the story in Terminator 2 is starting to look really scared and gripping her mace tightly. And I shake myself and just be like, what year is it?
Like, old man Braff cornered me again.
Yeah.
I tell HR.
Yeah, I really like that idea because
I think he's too old for them to fire. I think they have to have seniors on the staff.
Yeah, what I really like about that idea is that like you run out to your car and drive away, and everybody's just left there going, "Is he coming? He's not coming back."
Yeah.
And it's like, and then they're wondering what part of that was true or not. Like, did he really just fucking wake up? Like, did something just happen that we did not grasp?
And then what you do is you drive around the block and park, and then walk calmly back up to the group from the other side. Hey guys, what's going on?
Yeah, that's what we call a party.
Just reset the evening.
Yeah, just reset the evening. What do you mean? I just got here.
Like Finding Nemo?
No, see, I wouldn't do that because that's two things I don't like. Is A, catching myself raving about some movie to someone that doesn't care, and B, I don't know how to leave a party. So I can just do both of those things at once. Problem solved. I'm not coming back.
Nah, you will have caned yourself kung fu style into that entire situation.
I'll walk the earth.
Yeah, time to walk to Earth. All right, so anything? Let's see. Anything else we need to kind of wrap up on? I apologize for not being here last week, folks. E3 took place, and that was a thing. So we're slowly trying to work our way back into what the hell's going on with the show.
Not to be confused with IE3. You know, Iron Eagle 3.
Oh. Sorry, I forgot about that. We'll get the tattoo on Tremendo's arm. Now, and actually, just to clarify, that was Iron Eagle 3T was the one where he brought back like all the old pilots, right? And they had the different planes.
Have you seen The Family Guy where they make the joke about that?
Absolutely.
That is one of my favorite jokes.
Wait, what's the joke?
Where he says he's going to work on his novel, and he says it's about a pilot who gets kidnapped and his son has to save him. And she goes, isn't that the plot to Iron Eagle? And he goes, no, my twist on it is he has to get his old World War II buddies to fly him in. And she's cracking up the whole time at how horrible the idea is. And she goes, that's Iron Eagle 3.
Oh, that's right.
What he's working on turns out to be the plot to Iron Eagle 3.
Brian's book. Right.
Yeah. It's like a different take on the whole Billy and the Clonosaurus joke from The Simpsons.
All right. I guess that's it then. Next week, we're going to dedicate entirely to Underground Aces and the works of Robert Hedges. Yeah. Oh my God.
Mark L. Lester week.
Oh my God! Actually, you know what?
That would whet your appetite.
Mark L. Lester is so bizarre. Mark L. Lester directed Commando, and every so often, like I'll run across, I'm like, that he directed. He's got this really bizarre resume, and every so often you'll run across one of his movies, and you're like, no shit.
He was so 80s. He did Class of 1984. I don't know if you remember that movie.
Yeah, with
that's how 80s he was.
Isn't that Nick?
No, you're thinking of Class.
Class,
Yeah.
just Class.
No, you're thinking of Teachers.
Teachers, yes.
Joe Beth Williams, Ralph Macchio taking pictures.
Yeah.
And had the song "Teacher, Teacher, Can You Teach Me?" If we want to kind of wrap it all around in that circle.
Well, how far back does it go? That's the question.
It's and we'll have to look into that one because I'm sure that's before pre-Animal House. So we've gotten back to Animal House. We'll see if there's something before that has the song.
It's got to be. There's got to be. Is there? I mean, technically, you wouldn't call "Song from Dr. Zhivago" the song, but
stuff. But
I'm thinking 70s.
There were those Doris Day movies like Pillow Talk and stuff like that had theme songs like that, or like "Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter?" I believe had a song like that.
Maybe.
So I'm sure it goes back.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a long and sordid part of Hollywood history.
It's I'm sure there's probably like a wiki page that has every single theme song from a movie with the title in it.
It's a river flowing through the Monster Squad and Whoop the Addams Family. There it is, and Men in Black. Songs that get written to go over the credits.
And it probably ended with Wild Wild West, killed it all.
Because I saw one recently. What did I see recently?
I don't know. Now there was my favorite still though has to be the Moody Blues. I think it was the Moody Blues who did a song for Lethal Weapon 2. No, the original Lethal Weapon, and it has the lyric and your love is like a lethal weapon.
Well, it's
It's that classic ballad thing.
Also, now I got the song "Gotcha." Got you where I want you. Why is that on my mental hard drive? Like, why is that taking up space there? Where like,
you and I both busted out with the Up the Creek song too. I don't know how.
Up the creek.
Yeah, it's that weird virus.
Rock drum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like I heard the theme song to Electric Dreams the other day, and
oh my God, Electric Dreams.
Yeah, and that I think was one of those kind of big hits. And again, I think that's a lot of that stuff was around because of the birth of MTV. A lot of those movies were taking their songs, throwing clips on top of it, and then releasing it as a video to help in promotion. So a lot of those things probably just kind of like cycled through, and some of them became hits, some of them didn't. Howard the Duck, I'm looking at you.
Are you? Are you really looking at Howard the Duck right now?
Yeah. Sorry, where am I? Did I just wake up? I gotta go. Anyways, all right, so let's wrap this thing up. Dub, where can people find you?
They can find me at whatever it says down here.
Sounds good. At Film Geek Dub. T.
At Film Geek Dub. Sorry, I was looking up Electric Dreams.
Oh, it's okay.
At El Tremendo on Twitter.
All right, Shu.
In an alternate universe.
The Shooniverse.
Heyo.
Oh yeah, there.
Yeah. Warren.
At Warren Grass would be right.
Yeah, someday we're going to figure out what to call you other than Warren. Get a name, man. I mean, come on. And, of course, you can find me at John Santo or on the unemployment line.
All right. I got to get going, guys.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. Shu, take us out.
Film Geek Primer.
All right, we'll see you next week, folks. Have a good one.